All right, dear friends, we have a lot to go through this morning, so let me get with it. Let me explain to you. Since we spoke last night, since then, many changes. Today, good. Today's good. Today's a good day. It's a good day for singing a song. It's a good day. Today is good. Now, a couple of things here. First and foremost, the numbers are critical to watch. You really have to spend, and I would say no more than 5 minutes, getting, if you will, a kind of a review of what is happening. I'll go to the 538 RCP, the usual stuff. That's fine. That's great. That's groovy. But just that's a good place to start. That's a good place to start. Okay, you got that one? That's a very important, critical place for you to start and for you to pay attention to. You got that one? You got it? You got what I'm saying? It's a good place to start. The mood is changing drastically. Remember what we said before, and this was also critical. There is no way that you can possibly have a momentum, a sufficient momentum to withstand the rigors of the usual type of review for Kamala, to take on this basement procedure, this strategy of hiding out. It's not going to work, and you know it, and I know it. It's not, there's just no way to do that. No way at all. It doesn't matter. This is what they thought, and this is what, and believe me, you're going to be finding yourself, asking yourselves, how is this possible? Also, the Walls family for Trump. I think Clift makes it. I personally find that despicable. I don't care what you say. They did this with Mary Trump. We did this before with who else? Somebody else did it. Some other lunatics. These folks who come out supposedly against. There was another one, Mary Trump, and there was another one as well. Look, that's okay. I understand that, but that's just don't care for that. If you think that matters, good for you. In our troll society, it does. It makes a lot of difference, okay? But just ask yourself, do you really think that's going to make a difference? Do you think that when you see this, and I know you're not going to say this because it hurts people. It hurts people to say this, but do you understand that what's important for you to grasp in all of this, and this is important to note, is that how do people recognize this? How do people grasp what is happening? How? Do they look at this and say, hey, I'm going to vote for him or for Trump because this family of a grandfather or somebody, they came along. And by the way, they said Waltz's against, and they put Walls apostrophe S. Again, the plural of walls is Walls, E-S or S, but not an apostrophe S. This is on the, I don't know why people do this. It drives me nuts. I want you always to separate your thoughts from how things are perceived. There's a real mean-spirited part of us sometimes. It's our worst trait. And we say, I don't care. I think it's funny. Yeah, but you've got to be careful about this because believe it or not, and I'm sorry to say this, believe it or not, things sometimes backfire. Now, last night, the president was with Sean.
He's a weird guy. JD is not weird. He's a solid rock. I happen to be a very solid rock. We're not weird. We're other things, perhaps, but we're not weird. But he is a weird guy. He walks on the stage. There's something wrong with that guy. And he called me weird. And then the fake news media picks it up. That was the word of the day. Weird, weird, weird. They're all going, but we're not weird guys. We're very solid people that want our country to be great again. I mean, it's very simple. Let's play.
Okay. Was that good? That was good. It was all right. Again, you've got to watch the whole thing. The way to interpret this always is that this is another example of this wonderful thing called momentum. It shows, it reminds people. It causes them to say, uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. There is something that is happening around this. And again, remember, step out from what you think. The people who have a Harris sign in front of their lawn, they don't think he's weird. They don't care anything about that. They think Trump's weird. You understand that, right? Understand something. What you think, what I think, doesn't really matter. It's okay. It's okay. Because you know when people say weird, you know what they're intimating. And you've also seen this video that is supposedly attributed to him. They're basically saying they're questioning everything from sexuality to whether he's gay or whether he's. This is the intimation. This is what they're saying. They're not just saying he's weird. They're making these okay, fine. So whatever it is, that's okay. Is that going to do anything in the long run? Not really. It's fun though if you want to be mean. And remember this, I'm looking for ideas. I don't want to be mean. Why do I say this? I'm only after the people who are undecided, the undecideds, and more importantly, the undecideds and the independents, or somebody who might say, you know what, and they are not going to take kind of this high school, we're cool and you're not kind of thing. That doesn't work. I know this bothers people, and I know there are friends of mine who just love nothing. I mean, it's fun to put up stuff, but not if you're trying to campaign for him. What we say among ourselves is one thing. That's great, but that's not going to do the trick. That's not going to do the trick. This is what's interesting. You know what this is? This is a bunch of, these are buses. These are these buses that are being seen taking Kamala supporters to and from the events. This is, and for the first time in a long time, look at this. Look at these Yankee buses. I think this might have been New Hampshire, whatever. This is all over the place. This is all over the place, and people are seeing this. They're starting to see that this is an illegitimate, artificial, fake, phony, and fraudulent movement. There is no movement. Look at the number of these buses. Look at this, one after another. The money that's going to actually, and they're going there not just for the free bus ride. They're being paid a box lunch or whatever it is, a couple of bucks, a phone card. Who in the hell knows? This is the story. This is it. And what you do is you don't have to say anything mean. Just point this out. Check this out.
Invited Harris supporters are leaving and boarding shuttle buses. This was a departure for Kamala Harris, leaving toss-up states to come to New Hampshire.
See, this is New Hampshire. Did you hear what she said? Listen to what she said. Invited guests. Listen to this. Listen to this again.
Well, behind me, hundreds of invited Harris supporters are leaving and boarding shuttle buses.
They're not invited. They're bribed. This is the difference. And they're picking up on it. This is the critical movement. This is wonderful. That's the way you bring it up. Don't talk about the fact that she's weird and this and that, and she's stupid, and the word salad, whatever. Just explain the fact. Remember, our audience is not us. Our audience is somebody who is reluctantly going to pull away from her orbit, as we say. This was also, did you happen to see this new kind of a thing, which I find fascinating? It's the Tucker Carlson, Russell Brand, kind of a spirituality revival. Well, let me just show you this. Watch this.
With Bear Grylls. Bear Grylls sort of like appeared in my existence, coming out of the shadows. And like I said, would you like me to come and baptize you on the 28th of April? And I sort of went, yeah, but I meant no. I would not like you to come. You sort of make plans.
Now, if you had told me years ago that these many people would come out to see Russell Brand and Tucker Carlson, in fact, a lot of people at Fox News would have said, no, No, that's impossible. I'm not trying to compare. Believe me, I'm not trying to compare. Though it will sound like it, but I'm not. I'm not trying to compare what I do and will do on October the 26th. Granted, on a different scale. I have never, ever, ever thought about doing jokes. That's not the thing that we do anymore. Stand-up comedy is dead. It's run its course, and the real innovators are gone. By the way, that happens to be, this is the information for the show. There are people looking for answers, looking for religion, looking for faith, looking for affirmation that what they are doing is correct. And they need someone to lead them. I'm your leader. I want to show you a new way to think. I know it sounds crazy. But I've been doing this, by the way. J.A., a new member. Thank you, sir. Or ma'am. I don't know. Jay, I think Jay will be a man. I don't know. I can't tell. Who knows anymore? But what we have here and what's critical to note is the following. There is, to me, this is a movement that is happening. An absolutely incredible movement that is palpable, tenable, actual in and regarding the Trump phenomenon. And it is a message that I hope will change forever. There is a new, how do I say this? A new configuration of platforming. How do I say this? President Trump was on Lex Friedman. He shouldn't do, I hope you watch what I do. He should not do Joe Rogan. That ain't gonna work. I've already explained that one. That will be the destruction of Joe. Joe's always got to figure this out. See, there's one thing you got to do. Never destroy your platform. And I just want you to see something right now. And I'm going to say this right now. And believe me, this may mean nothing to you, but years from now, people are going to be watching this. Do you know what this one?
Things that plausibly unites people across all religions, Muslims, Jews, Christians, is that we all recognize that Rabbi Shmuley is unhinged.
Now, this is something interesting. I'm not going to spend any more time other than what I'm saying. This is a woman who is going to be crushed. And you can see it, and it's coming. And she is so filled with her own self-importance. She's very smart, but she doesn't know how to stay in her lane. And Piers Morgan is setting her up, and so is Shmuley. He's sitting there and he's saying, keep talking, little girl. Keep talking. Because what she is doing, and if you're interested in how this thing works, she is veering out of the lane. It's one thing to talk about what Israel is doing in Gaza, what Israel is doing regarding the Palestinians, what the Israel military action is. That's one thing. I dig it. No problem. I understand it. A lot of people are saying this. Many of them Jews, many of them even Israelis, many of them. But what she is doing is she is taking on, in many respects, Judaism and trying to describe and to explicate and expatiate different gradations. She talks about the Grand Rebbe Schneerson, and oh my God, somebody needs to get her. Just remember this. She doesn't get it, and this is something that you must always remember. Pick the hill you want to die on and ask yourself, do I really know what I'm talking about? Do I really understand this? I'm just going to say this. I have to say this to you. There is a big difference, and there are people, of course, who just love whatever she says, and they cannot discern when she goes too far. The same thing with anything. Same thing with Trump. Or with pick whoever you like, Trump or anybody, Tucker. People become such fans that they lose all ability to say to themselves, "Well, that may be too far at that time." Just remember I said that. Okay? This is a different story. Whenever you're discussing this, especially right now, do not discuss religion, because then finally you're getting into the anti-Semitism lane for the first time. Because up a lot of times people are saying, no, saying something about against the Likud party or that's not anti-Semitism. It's another story when you start taking on theology and okay, enough is enough. I know it's a waste of time. For the 5 people who know what I'm talking about, watch this. It's interesting to see this. I've seen this before. People become, especially when they are not, I don't want to say this, when they are angry and you're pushing apart, and she's pushing away from Ben Shapiro and the Prager group and the thing. And, okay. So what's happening right now? What's happening right now is today is a great and a glorious day for all of us. Crypto says a message just like Hell's Angels going to Aurora. Okay, that's good. Ryan says, don't get complacent, but Halpern has heard from Democratic operatives on the ground in Pennsylvania that they are now doubting Harris can carry the state. Likely the reason Silver's probability model is Trump 58, Kamala 41. I saw that, and that's very, very good. The problem with this is please do not go for necessarily things that you like to be true. Edie Crowley says, Monroe, thank you. Otherwise, I'd still be lost in the woods. And there we go right now with our Edie Crowley work of art. We have it right here. Let me get my sticker off here. In any event, this is my Edie Crowley. We have our, no, what am I saying? Here's the artwork. Intelligent people are the least able to parse through this for some reason. Indeed. Look at this. This is my Edie Crowley artwork. Thank you. We love you. We're going to put it on an exhibition. Now, let's talk about this. Nate Silver, that's good. The reason why you're going to Nate Silver is Nate Silver saying something you like. This is bias. This is why we have a good bias. This is why we have double-blind studies, because people will normally go for the information, for the data that they find interesting, that they agree with. Now, it's true. It's still a little early as we speak. And the reason for this is simple. It is now 61 days, okay? 61 days until it. And let me tell you something. They are freaking out. And they are and the latest, the conditions of the event, no audience, right?
No audience, muted mics.
No audience, muted mics. That's the best thing. No audience is the best. Why is no audience best? Why? Why is muted mics the best? Let me see this. Are you following this one? Okay, here we go. CNN. Harris campaign has accepted the terms of next week's, including the fact candidates' microphones will be muted when it is not their turn to speak, according to a person familiar with it. Also says muted mics. And I want to see. Pool reporters who can report on what they hear both. Okay. Do we have muted mics? Okay. We'll discourage the candidates from interrupting. Okay. We'll go through this. Why is this important? This is the most important thing in the world. Why is this important? Why is this critical? We want the moment for Trump to crush her. We live in a world right now of trolling. We live in a world of people who want there to be disaster, brutal disaster. You don't want, nobody's going to be hearing anything about the facts of the case. You want to catch her off guard, have her say something stupid, have her missay something. Have her go through a moment of word salad, emotional incontinence. That's what we want. That's what's interesting. That is the most important, to catch that. Absent an audience would be the best as well. Remember, Trump's got to go out of his way to destroy her, to do something where people the next day say, remember this very, very simple thing. Did you see what happened last night? Now, I am telling you, and I'm going to say this again, and I want you never to forget this. This is all great. This is all wonderful. If they don't secure, you know what I'm going to say, you know what Uncle Lenny's going to say, 7 states, 15 counties, if they don't understand, secure write-in, mail-in, absentee voting, ballots. This is the thing. I don't know. I don't know what Lara Trump or what she does, or Hartley or Watley or whatever his name is. I just don't know. That's the part that I'm saying. Everything else is terrific. Motivations, changes, swaths. There's a revolution in this country. Absolutely. Doesn't matter. If you get somebody that says, some guy that you don't know who has a bag full of ballots, go ahead, count these. That's it. Doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot. Always go for the simplest. This is not Occam's razor, but the simplest take on this. Okay. All right. Now, a couple of things here. First and foremost, as I was saying, my friends, the results so far and your reaction. I'm going to say this. This is our great, great sponsor. I love these folks because this is the most important thing in the world. Emergency food. The term kind of sells itself. But right now, this is the most important. Right now, there is a mega 3-month emergency food kit. Right now, you can save $300 if you go to preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. And here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to do a hard sell on you. Emergency food. If that title doesn't say enough for you, I don't know what does. Burglar alarm. Brakes. Self-defense. Yeah, you know what I mean? It makes sense. Emergency food. If you don't think that these ghouls would love nothing more than to cause you total and complete destruction of, dare I say, God, what would be the best word? What would be the best phrase? What would be the best? If you don't think they would love to see some moment of complete and total calamity, where they could short out, food stocks or God knows what. Believe me, you don't know these people. Preparewithlionel.com. I don't have to sell you on that. You're smart. Now, let me say something again. There is something that is happening that most people are not going to understand and to grasp. There is a moment and a movement that is happening right now where people are looking for something different and something spiritual. The old model is through. Did you hear the latest? Let me give you an example. Late night TV is dead. Late night, Fallon, Kimmel, Colbert, it's dead. I think it was Seth Meyers or one of them. They're canceling the band. They're getting rid of the music. You don't need it. It's a waste of time. They're canceling the band. Crypto says, wouldn't it be mighty if Trump admonished his plan to fix the ballot scam live on the debate? Admonished, warned his plan, or announced, or, well, he's got to bring it up. He's got to tell them specifically. He's got to, and I agree in this respect, he's got to tell people what they should be paying attention to ahead of time. Don't say this is going to happen. Say, make sure you're paying attention to this. If I had to run this, if I had to do, it wouldn't surprise me. If I ran this place, if I did this, if I was in charge, the first place I'd go would be there. That's what I would do. It's the easiest move because nobody knows what to do. There's no machines. Charlie Kirk can have all the people he wants staring. It's just simple. These ballots are, I got this one here. You want to count this? Open it up. Here, you open it up. Here's a ballot, open it up. What does it say? Okay, write it down. Here's another one. This came in the mail. I don't know. Count it. I didn't touch it. Yeah, but who are those names? Who are they? Well, I don't know who they are. Have they been purged? How long have they been on this roll? Does this name exist? Does the name Demetrius Splitkin exist anywhere in Pennsylvania in any other place? But he's on this ballot. How long has this name been there? I don't know. Has it been purged? I don't know. Nothing wrong with it. This address, 123 Main Street. Where is it from? Crypto says, yeah, that's what I mean. That's it. Explain to people. You're sitting there. You're just counting time. Who are these names? I don't know who these names are. How many ballots went to 123 Main Street in Philly? I don't know. What if I told you 30? 30? You don't have 30 people living there. Are you sure this is a house? Are you sure this is a house? What if I told you this is a Best Western? What? This is a vacant lot. This is a single family. This is a trailer house. I don't know what this is. How do we know all this? Nobody cares about. They're talking all kinds of things about, Tim Walz is weird. And I'm afraid those sick bastards are sitting back saying, come on, keep talking about it. Talk about his family. Just talk about anything but the ballots. Talk about her. Talk about the daughter-in-law. Talk about the son. Talk about everything. Talk about her laugh. Talk about this. Just go ahead and feel like you're going to win and look at these numbers, because what Nate Silver and 538 and RCP, what they don't figure and they can't work into their polls is what I've got. And I've got stuff at there. Let's just assume that maybe I'm somebody's got, I got a bag full of ballots. How about that, Nate? 538 this. What are you going to do about that? And what is a poll? What are polls? Let me ask you. Hey, you. Hey, Mio. Hey, Liz. Lizzie Solak, everybody. Hey, listen. Thanks for coming to the Short Hills Mall. Can I ask you, between Kamala and Donald Trump, whom do you prefer? Oh, you like Harris? Okay, there's two right there. And are you waiting? Are you registered to vote? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Excuse me. Can we go back? Yeah. When was the last time you voted? Well, are you going to vote this time? Well, you do vote, right? Well, you didn't ask me if I voted. You asked me whom I prefer. I don't vote. Oh, I see. Or I get a bunch of women or old people, or I only go to people in metropolitan areas. I only ask. I also don't. There's this unpollable factor. These groups of people that are quiet, they don't speak. Yesterday, I was talking to somebody who's kind of sort of in the financial world here in New York, of all places. And in 2020, because they didn't really know how good Trump was. See, they were so used to. They thought, well, the economy is on its own. Nobody can screw up the economy. So they were lefties and they voted for Biden. Now they're all going for Trump. Everybody. These are lefties because they realize these people are going to destroy everything. Yeah, we might, we may have some crazy idea, but not crazy. We might have things about reproductive rights, but we're in no way are we in the position where we're going to allow this guy to get near the purse strings again. And that's the difference. Remember, too, she's nowhere. She doesn't exist. She's not answering questions. And even, you see where Tater's back at CNN? Tater? Oh, Spud? The human thumbprint? Whatever this wobbly Oompa Loompa, whatever this guy is, he's back. Tater, he's back. He blocked me, I think. Or he did. I think he did from Twitter. Did he do that? I can't believe that I have a veritable rogues gallery. Brian, Brian Stelter is back. Mr. Reliable Sources, yeah. Mr. Brian Stelter, he is back. Let me see, isn't that sad? Reliable Sources. This guy, of all people. I mean, here we go. Brian Stelter. Oh, you're blocked. He blocked me. Brian Stelter, network of lies. A person who basically he's got a picture of him from high school in the front. This is a guy whose job it is to talk about media bias, and he blocks me. I don't care. The same thing with David Crosby and Alec Baldwin and Keith Olbermann and some people I don't even know. Why would you? I don't communicate with them. Isn't that something? These people are such thin-skinned children, but I don't really care. But there's a lot of other things there. There are people, and I've been telling you this for the longest time, and maybe, President Trump did this thing last night where he said something about, just hold your nose and vote for me. That's what I said. You don't think that? No. I mean, you don't think anybody's listening to what I'm saying? No. I can't be the only one saying this, so no, probably not. Kind of just makes sense to me. He's chemotherapy. I don't know if anybody wants to think about this, but the analogy is perfect. Chemotherapy is a poison. Chemotherapy is something that you would never use in any other situation except when you've got cancer, where you're going to die. Chemotherapy is the worst thing in the world. Chemotherapy, that's what Trump is. You bring him in, you bring this guy. I mean, nobody had, when you have a guard dog, like a guard dog, this is not your pet. Those aren't good. When you bring in guard dogs, they're like, oh, these are not friendly. These are not your buddies. Don't get near these things. They're not there to be your buddies. They're there to guard. They do something. Just like bouncers and people that you need to security people and the army and the military. These are not nice people. These are not nice people. I mean, you might like them in real life, but their job is to do stuff, is to get the bad guys. And that's what Trump is doing. That's what Trump is all about. What he's about to do and what he is doing, which is so critical, more important than anything else, he is responsible for something which he started a long time ago. And by the way, we're seeing it now. Let me go back to this. We're seeing folks who are looking for something spiritual, something that they're so in need. Just listen to some of the stuff that Jordan Peterson says. He's very, very popular. I can't listen to a millisecond of him for reasons I don't really know. But he says nothing that's in any way remotely interesting except for people who need it. It's very easy for people with millions of dollars who have everything going for them to sit back and say, life is a series of adventures. Go out and seize the day and embrace your challenge. That's great. Thank you very much. Talk to somebody who has no job or some single mom working two jobs to basically help because the old man isn't paying for child support or whatever the hell it is. Try doing that. Good luck with that. It sounds terrific. I always like I've been seeing this a lot on YouTube all of a sudden. Denzel Washington and all these people with these views of life. Ask somebody who's 90 years old. What do you think about life? Ask somebody who's 90 years old. And they'll look back and say, you know what? So much of it doesn't even matter. I don't even remember. Do you remember how much money you had at 40? Not really. Does it matter now? No. You had a lot of money. You have a lot of money now, yeah, but I'm 90 years old. What does that do? I mean, that was important then, but it's not really now. What about your friends? Oh, they're dead. They're dead. So ask somebody who's 90 what they think about life. Ask somebody at 20. What do you think is important right now? Well, their sky's the limit. They're completely dreamy world. They have no idea what's going on. So all these people who provide all of this fascinating philosophy, it's all framed upon what particular situation they're in at the moment. And what's also interesting to note, this is equally as important. It doesn't mean that people aren't looking for something. And spirituality and the sense of recognizing by virtue of your humility, especially if you've been through a lot, if you've been through drug abuse, you've been through alcoholism, if you've been through the death of somebody, that means a lot. And it's important and critical to note. And that's why, I cannot tell you enough. I'm going to say this one more time. Candace Owens has no idea what they are setting her up. Remember, I'm saying this. And she'll go the way of Michelle Malk. All of a sudden, hey, whatever happened to her? I don't know. Once you get that stink label, no good. Okay, got it. Pick the hill you want to die on. Anybody who tells you that you live in a country where you can say anything you want is out of their mind. Anybody who tells you live in a world where you can say whatever you want, and we're the First Amendment, freedom of speech is going to be a commodity that you are not going to even be able. You're going to sit back and say, do you remember when we? No. Look what's happening. Look what's happening in the UK. It is arresting people, thousands of people for what they post online. That's the beta. That's the laboratory. It's going to happen here too. Believe me when I'm telling you this. Believe me. Can't you see what's happening? I know you know that. And that's why you got to keep in mind that people love to quash speech. Liz Cheney, that awful harridan, that termagant, who now all of a sudden supports Kamala Harris, she's the worst. Kinzinger and these other folks, they're just these quizzlings. I don't understand it. Let me also tell you something. Listen to me carefully. Be very careful of somebody who switches a party, even if they switch to your side, just because you like them, just because they say, well, they've come to our side. Anybody who goes from Democrat to Republican, be very careful of them. I know what you're going to say. No, they saw the light. At 45 years old, they saw the light? Come on. I don't understand this. It's like when people it's like nobody ever converts to being gay. You know what's funny? He was married, and then later on he converted. No, he wasn't. He was gay the whole time. He didn't admit to it. You don't wake up one morning and say, hey, I'm gay. I'm going to give this a try. No. This is different. So when Tulsi Gabbard, all of a sudden, she goes from Democrat to Republican. When Bobby Kennedy Jr., I know who it was. It was Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s family. You've got Walz's family. You got Mary Trump, that despicable Mary Trump, who, by the way, you got to explain to people, who the hell is Mary Trump? Well, his brother, Fred, who died. Who? Trump's brother, Fred, who died. Who? Forget it. She's this extraneous outlier. But the same thing that happened to Bobby Kennedy. Look at his family. He's so pissed off. And he's got his own particular demons and his problems, and I understand that. But when somebody all of a sudden changes and he says, I'm a Republican now, I'm with Trump, I don't trust him. I know you do, because you like what he says. This theory was there the whole time. How come you bought into this crap before? Cornel West isn't going to change. Jill Stein's not going to change. That's a whole different story. There are some gradations. Sometimes you can seemingly change, but you don't. Going back to Israel, there are people I know who are Jewish. There are people I know who are Zionists. A lot of people, but there are different variations of this, but not this. I'm pro-Israel, but I don't like what they're doing in Gaza. I'm a Jew, but I'm not a Zionist. There's all kinds of gradations. It's almost like a cafeteria Catholic. You know, that Catholics are the funniest. Oh, I'm Catholic. Do you go to Mass? No. Do you honor the holy days of obligation? No. Do you go to the sacrament? No. No, but I'm a Catholic. Why? Because I went to Catholic school and I'm a Catholic. That's the name I give. Just like I'm Irish. So let me just tell you something. Remember, there's people are looking for something, and the reason why they're abandoning ideology is that the party abandoned them, not the concept. There's one thing for you to say, I don't like those Democrats anymore, so I went to this group. That's really what they're saying. Bobby Kennedy, more than anybody, has understood the tenets and the philosophies of the Republican Party his whole life. All of a sudden now he's saying, wait a minute, I don't think that makes sense anymore. What? No. You're doing it because, first of all, like a lot of people, you're trying to enjoy fame, your family turned on you right off the bat when you started to talk the way you did about vaccines and everything else, and he's changed. Look at Tulsi Gabbard. Now she's a Republican. She was a Democrat. Okay, fine. A lot of people were, because the Democratic Party of the old days is now what the Democratic Party is now. The Democratic Party of JFK, this guy was a conservative. George McGovern was a bomber pilot of World War II. These are not what you think. But Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney's daughter, is now you're behind Kamala Harris? Oh, come on. If you don't see what's going on right now. And why? What does this mean? Sports fans, it means what Uncle Lenny's been telling you the whole time. These labels mean nothing. These parties mean absolutely nothing. They mean nothing to you. Do you understand that? They mean nothing. And there's a revolution that's going on right now. I'm telling you, this is the good news. And everything's changing. Like I told you, late night's changing. Stand-up comedy is changing. The people want to hear. Put it this way, there is nothing funnier than what's going on right now. If you can't do, and most of the people who do comedy have no idea what the hell is going on anyway. Sorry to say this. But if you don't see what's going on now as being hilarious, as people say, then you're not paying attention. My friends, these are great times. These are absolutely incredible times. I mean this. There is so many great things. By the way, today at 10 o'clock, I'm going to be doing the Mark Simone show. And I'm going to tell old Mark what I'm telling you. You know, we could talk all this day about he's doing great, this and that. But I'm looking at that. I'm looking at how they can do it again and how they have set the stage. Do you know that Lex Friedman, the other day when he was talking to Trump, was going on and on about, so you really think they stole the election? Do you really think they stole the election? He was like harping on Trump, saying, yeah. And Trump couldn't say it. Trump thinks of course he stole the election. This is what Trump believes. But even now, it's as though for you to think that, you're crazy. See how they do that? So do you think anybody right now who's going to dare say, hey, I know an idea. I think I know why this is happening. Because they stole that. Oh, yeah, I can't say that. See what they do? They sensitize you to it. They call you a conspiracy theorist. They call you an election denier. They call you a nut. These people are very, very good. So remember, don't be distracted by certain things that don't matter. Yeah, Trump was on Hannity. That's nice. All those people are going to vote for Trump. Do you think anybody watched Hannity last night? No. But it was good, and it shows excitement and verve, and I think it's important. And he talks about some issues, and maybe it'll kind of leach out. Maybe it'll extravasate, out into the blood-brain barrier, into the common collective awareness. I hope it does. Don't be, and the same thing with Nate Silver and everything else. These are polls. These aren't votes. Votes are a different story. You got to get off your ass and vote, either in person or in mail-in. You got to actually do it. Most people don't vote because they're fat and they're lazy and they don't care about anything. But they're big on opinion. That's what social media are. They're all about opinion. And one more thing before I forget. Christmas is just around the corner. That's not that crazy. 3 months or so, about 3.5 months until Christmas. Isn't that weird? Isn't that strange? So that's why, what better way than to call our good friends at mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. That's right, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Lindell, that son of a gun is still trudging. Every time we're driving on Route 3 and I go by those old Bed Bath & Beyond, those are the ones who turn their back on him. He's still rocking. He's still standing. And they're gone. Okay? Because you fought back and you said, no. Plus, it's a great product. I'm not telling you to do this just to be, help the guy out. No. All right, dear friends, I love you. Remember, listen to Uncle Lenny. Do not be fooled. Do not go for information that makes you feel better. Go for information that's correct. That's all. That's simple. Oh, I noticed something. I didn't look at this. I noticed my brand was gone. There we go. How about that? Yeah, there we go. I just noticed that. I didn't turn that on. All right, dear friends, I've got to do a conference coming up, a conference call. Have a great and glorious day. See you tonight. By the way, make sure you subscribe to Lionel Nation. Stay subscribed, because I'm getting the word from people that people are being unsubscribed left and right, rather. Our good friend Fred Pound says, I'm fat and lazy, but I vote. Get out there, folks. Absolutely. You'd be surprised how many people don't. Because it's about psephology, the study of elections, PSEPHOLOGY. So, my friends, thank you so much for Fred Pound, a crypto nominee. Thank you. Edie Crowley, we love you. Ryan and Joy A, our new member. Don't forget also, follow Mrs. L. She's got great, the stuff she's putting out is incredible. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it's ballsy, it's brazen, it's brave, and it's bold. And I'm going to be as alliterative as I want. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. See you later on. Remember, we're going to win this. We can win this. But we must remain vigilant and speak up. Talk to you later. Have a great day. Don't forget the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Dad.